Evening, y'all. Chief Prepper here. It's Monday night. I think it's February 27th. Made it through another weekend. I've started another week. Uh, so I want to talk about some things. Some people have talked about, some people have not. If you haven't noticed, there is an inordinate amount of food recalls happening. For about a month, it was pet food left and right. And now we're getting ice cream, milk, dairy, listeria recalls, this and that, meat recalls for salmonella. So, if you're on the fence about prepping or trying to become self-sufficient, then that should help. Another thing on food, saw a news article, not a YouTube video. GMO milk is making its way into the food system, and in some cases it's not being labeled as such. So if you're one of those anti-GMO people, then look for the news article. I think it was on Newsbreak that I saw it. Antifa, seen 2 news articles in the last 24 hours about them fuck turds. All I will have to say about that is stay your sorry asses in your safe blue cities, states, and counties, because you come fucking try that shit some other places. If 1,000 of you show up, there might be less of you fucking hauling ass out of wherever you go into when it comes to a red place. Alright? You can figure out what blue and red means. Shitbags. Kristi Noem was painted as a victory for the Russian government and Putin, and that's what he would love. I'm not sure why. Maybe because they consider her a threat, but that goes along with the anti-Trump is already starting, or maybe it never stopped. It just kind of died down because he wasn't president. All right. Patera gave advice on moving out of the cities. She basically told everybody the truth. You can't just move to the country and make it, even if you have water, even if you can produce food, because there are going to be some things you're going to need that you're going to have to go to buy into town to buy. If you don't have somebody who's a blacksmith who can work a forge and make tools, then you're going to need a shovel. You're going to need nails. You're going to need screws. If you don't have hammers, if you don't have tools, all right. That don't count all the things that you can't produce, all right. If you don't know how to take goat's milk and turn it into cheese or other things, so you don't have a dairy cow, you don't have, you can have meat producing animals, as in beef for cows. You can have goats, you can have chickens, you can have pigs, you can have lambs, but you gotta have vegetables. So let's keep that in mind. But she basically said, if you're gonna move to the country, do your homework. Try to be debt free, or as debt free as you can be, and make sure you have an income source so that you don't go out there and then turn around and have to move back into the city in worse conditions than when you moved out. All right. I like her channel. I think she's a decent or good person. She represents an American family with her husband and her kids, and she's God-fearing. So that says a lot about her. Heard 2 different stories. I think they were both on YouTube. George Soros is putting in a bid to buy, or is in a process of buying, between 200, I've heard 200 tonight and then 400 the other day, AM radio stations. You need to look into the technology for AM radio stations. It is one of the forms of communications that might still work post EMP. So if he controls those radio stations, then he controls the information you're going to receive. In addition to that, AM radios stations are a bastion for conservative voice. So if he buys them and controls them, then I'm almost certain that some of the channels that are on there and talk show hosts that are on there aren't going to be on there anymore. So, one more cog in the wheel to the doom of our nation. So, it's kind of all I really wanted to talk about. I'm already approaching 5 minutes, but sometimes information is out there, and if you're not really paying attention, you're not watching, like I get when there's a Newsbreak article that falls along the stuff that I look at, pops up. Sometimes I read it, sometimes I don't. If you're not, if you're still working full time and you're not retired, then you don't have time to be on your phone looking at shit all the time or seeing stuff and then choosing to either look at it or not look at it. So I just thought I'd hit a couple things. Everything points to things getting worse. So make appropriate decisions. Prepping is a journey. It's a long path. Some people would say it never ends. So, you got to choose what you want to do. Bottom line is, where there's lots of people and scarce resources, life is going to be tough. Doesn't mean it'll be better, but it will be tough, right? So, one last thing. Mexico City is getting ready to run out of water. They say they got about 3 months. So, think about that. 22 million fucking people. People start dying and organs start shutting down after 36 hours without water. So, in 3 months, that's March, April, May, so June. Dying by the millions. So, and that's a reality that I talked about. Every single place that humans have settled, and I learned this in a geography class in college, is by and far close to water sources. So everywhere people are right now, at least in America, I'm pretty sure it's around the same around the world, there is a finite number of people, livestock, animals that can be supported by the water sources in the area. So no water, no drinking, no life. Information is knowledge and power. Live a little, prep a lot, share the love when you can. Chief Prepper, out.